Go live. Hey, we are live. Welcome back to another episode of Mountain Bike Q&A, MTB Q&A. I'm your host, Johnny U, in case you don't know. I really appreciate you guys coming on and watching this. I always do this with my hands. I'm very hand animated. I don't know what the heck that is. Guess it gives me something to do. Appreciate you guys so much for coming on. I see there's some people in the live chat. We'll get to you guys. I'm really excited about this chat tonight. I met him maybe a month ago on another podcast about the creator camp that JT the Dusty Dutchman had, and I fell in love with this guy's work. But thank you for coming on. Thank you for live watching. Thank you for watching afterwards. Thank you for going on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever else you can watch this or listen to it. Really appreciate you guys. This is going to be a lot of fun. I do want to mention, I want to give a shout out to my buddy Amari, a.k.a. MTB Sensei. He saw my last podcast with Dusty, the Shred Academy, and said, I would like to give you, because he's a coach. They're both coaches. And he was like, I'd love to coach you. And I thought it was great. We met up this weekend at Markham Park, and he showed me some things. And it's amazing. You don't know what you don't know until you know. I learned some things. I'm going to put out some long form content. Hopefully it all works out. But it was amazing. I'm a rider, but I just rode. I rode for fun. I rode to be out in nature. I thought I was good. Thought I was decent. And then he showed me some stuff, and it ramped up my level. If you saw my short, yes, I've had some comments about how slow I was, but I was working on some things. I'm not a very good dropper. Neither here nor there, but thank you, Amari, for setting some time aside and showing me some great things. I had a blast. I met some people. It was a great weekend. But enough about that, folks. Let's bring on the man of the hour. This kid is beyond. To say he's a great content creator, it would be just insulting. He's incredible. So let's bring him on, folks. Evan, Minnesota MTB. How you doing, brother?
Good. Thank you for having me, and welcome everyone.
Yeah,
glad to be here.
Oh God, I really appreciate you taking the time, man. This is awesome. Can we go in the chat real quick?
Let's do it.
People are already loading in, man.
People are already here.
JT's
here.
Dutchman that brought us together.
Yep, he sure did.
Oh, sorry, I got a little burp there going on. Aaron over there at Everstoke building some sick trails. He's got a VW Bug that you can ride over now. Get over to Everstoke if you can. If I have time.
Same.
Have you seen his videos? Have you watched?
I have, yeah. So I gotta get over there. I gotta get over there and ride. Do some content.
God. James Winterland. Do you know James?
No, I don't know personally, but I've seen James in the comment and things like that on some recent videos. So good to see you, man. Good to see you in the chat.
Loving his content. Ladies and gentlemen, we always have to give a round of applause for Jarno, the fractured rider. Finland is in the house.
In the house.
Hey, we got Silverback Orangutan 71. I was chatting with him on another podcast the other day. Thank you for stopping by, man. Appreciate it.
Ohio.
Oh, you're all very welcome. What are you talking about? You are busting your butt out there, Aaron. Killing it out there. And holy cow, Matty the Trail Pimp says hello.
Trail Pimp in the house.
Oh, do you follow any of these kids or?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah. They're all great. I love you guys. Appreciate this. Evan, so my thumbnail, I think says everything that I want to know about you. Where are you from?
Minnesota. Born and raised in Minnesota. Lived here 30 years, never anywhere else. I've always wanted to live out west somewhere. Eventually, we'll see. But yeah, so originally from the Twin Cities of Minnesota, and I've just been here my whole life, and a lot of my family is here in Minnesota. So as you can tell by my channel, Minnesota MTB, that's what it's all about. So yeah, kind of a very simple name of a channel, but it's fitting to the stuff that I do. So
Yeah, you and me both, man. We're both like, let's just keep it simple.
right. And I've been doing this for 4 years now, and there's multiple times during the year where I'm like, do I want to change my name? Because my content's always evolving, and I just don't know. Like I just do a bunch of things, and we'll obviously kind of talk about it later. But yeah, I don't know. It's a good name. No one had it, so I'm like, I'm taking that name. I'm taking it. Got to take it.
Got to take the Minnesota. It's mine.
Yeah,
It's
it's mine.
Get that. Oh, hey, my wife is in here. Thank you, MTBTNA.
Hello, welcome.
Hey, Yarna just subbed. Let's get him to 3,000. You're like that close.
I'm like that close. I'm like right there.
Sub him right now. Let's get some people subbing him, and we'll get to talking and watching some of your videos. This kid, I said it in my tease today. It's obnoxious. I feel like throwing my camera away and just quitting this.
Don't give up.
I used my pillow as a big sponge to soak up my tears after I watched some of your videos. I was like, I shouldn't be doing this.
Oh, come on. Come on.
What you guys have seasons in Minnesota?
We do, and we are slowly getting into winter. We're gonna have our first snowfall. I think tomorrow. It's gonna be our first snowfall.
Shut the front door.
No, seriously. Yeah, I think we're gonna have like, I don't know, not much, but it's gonna be visible. We're gonna see snowflakes. So it's unfortunate. Last year we had a really weird year where we didn't get a lot of snow. It wasn't really cold, and I actually got out and rode in January. That was my first ride for the year. Was January like 1st or 2nd? I was riding on a trail because it was frozen. It was cold enough that it wouldn't cause damage. And yeah, there was just a light coating of snow, and it was like, this is a first. This is a first for me.
It's too cold, I guess, to go wakeboarding at Lake Minnetonka.
Yep. Yeah, probably.
It's probably snowing tomorrow.
Yeah, right. Maybe if you have a wetsuit, maybe you got a wetsuit, it's probably okay.
Oh, I got to be honest, and I know I'll probably lose subs. Whatevs. I went for my first ride with what I was talking about earlier with MTB Sensei Sunday. It's been like 2 months, and I'm just the opposite. It's stifling hot down here. That it for me as an older rider, it's not even fun. Like dying. I feel like I'm dying out there. It's like heat stroke. You go through. I got a 3-liter or 2-liter pack of water on and I can go through it like
nothing.
Half the trails, I'm done.
Yeah. I mean, and it does, like here in Minnesota, it does get very humid. I wouldn't say to the level of Florida humid, but it gets pretty close in the summertime.
But does it get cold enough to where you have to put your bike away for a minute?
As far as like the winter goes, or like in the summer? Yeah, no, yeah. Oh, like because there's a whole fat biking thing. You can JT about fat biking. But yeah, fat bikes are a really big thing in Minnesota. Wisconsin too. I think all like the Midwestern states where there's snow, fat biking is a thing. So I tried it for a few years, and to be honest, I didn't really like it because I sold that fat bike. I no longer have that thing. So it's just when you fat bike, you have to be. Are the snow conditions correct? What type of clothing do you have to wear? You're going to be either too hot. You're going to either be too cold. If you are really going for it and you have too many layers and you can't shed those layers, then you're sweating and you're cold. It's like, no, I don't know. Once in a while, but I'm not going to be a, weekly fat biker in the winter. It's just not my cup of tea, but it's fun. It's a fun thing to do.
So you do put the bike away for the winter months.
It goes away, sadly. It sadly goes away.
So hopefully I don't lose subs because I put my bike away I'll go street riding on my mountain bike, but I just going back in those trails, it's like the Amazon. It's stifling. Now you've lived in Minnesota your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Is there really an accent over there in Minnesota?
I think so, but I don't really.
Don't have it.
I don't honestly have it. There's some words and there's some like sometimes I just do it on purpose to be funny about it. But if you go, I think if you go further north in Minnesota, so like northern Minnesota, kind of like the Arrowhead kind of region, yeah, there's some people that have some pretty heavy
Over here in Minnesota.
Minnesotan accents. Yep,
Wow,
they
what
got a
is that?
little. They got a little bit of Canadian too going on.
A
I
little
like
bit.
to sometimes I'll say like a, after like sentences or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's just subconsciously me trying to be Canadian since I live.
See, I'm learning that now. I don't know the map. But you got there's a big Canadian. What kind of population do you got over there that gets that kind of accent? Is it Canadian?
I don't know.
Okay.
I honestly don't know.
I was just throwing that out there. I just didn't know because
Who
when you think
knows?
Minnesota, you think Minnesota.
Yeah,
The hot dish Minnesota. I like
yeah. Hot
Maddie's
dish.
like a hot dish Minnesota food. What is that?
So I know my parents make I think there's multiple hot dishes you can make, but they like to make like tater tot hot dish. So basically what it is the base layer is tater tots. And then I think it's like cream of mushroom soup and like ground beef. And then that's like kind of like the middle of it. And then you put more tater tots on top. And then you put a bunch of cheese on top and you melt it and you bake it. It's so good. It's so good.
Oh, and cheese.
And cheese, a ton of cheese on top. Yeah,
Oh, you had me at
it's
tater
so good.
tots.
It's so good.
You had that. Now, tater tots is the most everyone goes to waffle fry or French fry.
It's
I'm
underappreciated.
7 days a week on a tater tot if I can get one.
Oh man, and when they're like super like crispy and crunchy, that's where it's at.
Oh, he says he's on your. You've got 3,000 now.
Oh no way. Let me check.
Yarno over there in Finland has checked, and you're at 3,000.
Okay. Thank you everyone for doing that.
All right. Well, thank you all very
That's
much.
awesome.
It's been a wonderful podcast. All his information. No, I'm just kidding.
That's all this was supposed to be is, hey, can you give me a 3? And then we're done.
Great.
Yeah, we're done.
JT does not want us to mention chicken tendies.
Yeah, so
that was the whole thing over there at the creator camp.
That was a whole thing when we were sitting around the campfire. We were all talking about where's the best chicken tenders, and we got into like more than I would have thought of a conversation about chicken tenders around a fire at a mountain biking extravaganza. It was weird. Yeah. It's cool.
But what's funny is Colin did a video where he was asking people where their favorite, and someone said Publix. And I don't know if you guys know from Publix, it's a grocery store down here, hands down. It's all white meat and it's fantastic. It's got incredible crisp. So when I come to creator camp this year, I'm going to have to bring some. Hold on. Who's the hungry mountain goat?
Yeah, it's Bruges. What's going on, man?
Oh, nice. Like and subscribe. So we're already on now. Let's get back to you. We'll get to all this other stuff. So what do you do over there in the Minnesota?
What do I do? So as far as the job goes, this is obviously not full time, but I just do a little bit of retail management. Been doing that for eight or 10 years, lost track. Like I said before, I've just lived here, my whole life. And really, I've been doing this channel for 4 years, but I've been mountain biking for, I think 10 years now, something like that. Yeah. And when you ask a lot of people, like how, because usually when you get into like a sport or a hobby, you have friends, you have family that do it. But for me, like the origin story of like where I started was, I didn't have any friends that mountain biked. I didn't know anyone that mountain biked. I didn't even know mountain biking was a thing, to be honest, 10 years ago. And so I basically took my dad's Huffy bike and was just riding some like paved trails and whatnot. And then I found these it was like in a county park and there was some dirt gravel roads. And so I, was just on the gravel. I was doing gravel riding before I even knew gravel riding was a thing.
Yeah.
And there's like some hills, and then it gets a little bit narrow, and then there's some like just kind of trails that wander through the woods. And that, I went and took the bike and rode around and stuff. And then I was like, I wonder if there's like dedicated trails for bikes that are off-road. And then I just did some searching around with like my local area at the time. And I was like, whoa, yes, there is. And then I went on YouTube and I literally found like a video of a person riding a trail in St. Paul. And I was like, oh, here we go. I'm going to get a bike. I'm going to go to that trail and see what this is all about. So literally I bought a mountain bike. And then it was just a hardtail. Went out to that trail, started riding the trail. It was definitely above my pay grade, being an absolute beginner.
Nice.
But right there, then I knew exactly where I wanted to be. It was go mountain biking, and that was the rest was history.
That's
With that,
I like how you took your dad's Huffy, you said?
yeah, it's like an old Huffy. I forgot what kind of Huffy it was, but it was like a kind of like a vintage Huffy, fully rigid. Had some like knobby tires on it, so it was a better bike than my BMX bike at the time. So yeah, I just took that thing, went on a ride or whatever, and that's kind of where I discovered it. Just out in the open. Yeah.
I had a buddy. Sorry, I had a buddy who I was riding a lot, and I get that feeling. I riding a lot, and I had bought a Cannondale. I was riding a lot on the street. I had a hybrid Cannondale M300. It even had one of the stems that you can adjust.
Oh, sweet.
And then it was just full rigid, it had slicks on it. And then my buddy goes, "Oh, you should come to me to this trail, mountain biking here in Florida." So I went, and I thought it was so much fun. I ended up getting some knobby tires, and I got a Rock Shock. It was 80 millimeter. It was like a Rock Shock Judy. It was 80 millimeters.
Dang, that's a lot back then.
And I had that bike forever, and that's what I was riding forever. And I was just like, you always remember that moment, those moments when you like, that's when you got bit.
Yep.
It's like
where it clicks, and you're like, yep, that's where I want to be.
Yeah. Oh, but JT's already asking questions. I'm like, get to that, JT. He's already asking questions ahead.
He's trying to take over.
Slow your roll, JT. But yeah, so you remember that bike you bought? Full rigid?
Yeah, it was. Oh boy, what was that thing? It was weird. It was a K2, and K2 I believe makes like skis and snowboards. So yeah, I bought it at like a local sporting goods store. I didn't go to a bike shop. And yeah, it was a K2. It was I think a 29er hardtail. And yeah, so that was like the first like proper mountain bike. Even before I bought that bike, I think I borrowed my friend's bike for a while until I could buy that mountain bike. So yeah, that was my first proper mountain bike. Had that for, I think, man, I had that maybe for a season. I'm like, yep, I already want to upgrade. I like already want to get a full suspension, because like I know this is what I want to do, and I want to like invest my money to buy something. Because some people like they'll put money on something, they're like, oh yep, like I really like this, and then a year later, like, maybe not. But I knew right away. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be spending a lot of money, and this hobby is gonna cost me a lot of money down the road here.
My hobby.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, or you could pick up golf. That's expensive too.
Well, golf. Yeah, I always hear that too. I always hear like golf. You got to buy like the golf balls, your clubs. You got to buy the tee time. You got to rent the cart, and I don't know. I still think mountain biking is a little more.
Don't get into boating. I can tell you that right now. Medi here says that K2 bike was actually a Pro Flex bike with the K2 brand.
Interesting. Okay, so they just rebranded it. That's
okay.
interesting.
Interesting. So what are you riding now?
Right now I ride a Ibis Ritmo AF, so the aluminum frame of the Ibis Ritmo. So yeah, I've been riding it for 2 years, and Yeah, I love that bike. Yeah, definitely. It's some trails here. Yes, it's definitely overkill, but I like to have a bike where because it's a 160 front and a 147 in the rear. It's kind of a weird, um, I guess, design choice, but um, one bike do it all. Like I can ride cross country trails, more like heavy duty trails, like up in the North Shore of Minnesota, or if I go out west, like it's a perfect bike. But I eventually just want to get a more trail oriented bike,
Uh-huh.
and then just have the Ritmo for bike park days and just some more gnarly terrain.
Um, Going back in time when you were doing you're finding these trails, how has the trail systems? Because you said you've been riding for 10 years.
About that, about that.
That's pretty good. It's a good amount of time for a guy who you look like you're 20.
If I shave, I look like I'm 12.
But have the trails progressed? Have they grown since you? Because I know down here when I first started 25 years ago, it, I just went to a trail I haven't been to in like almost 20 years, and the
Mhm.
place has changed completely. I didn't recognize it at all. How has the trail systems changed since you started?
A lot. They have changed a lot. And really, like, I think, a lot of it was just cross country stuff. And then even in the last, I would say 3 or 4 years, they've been putting in, like jump parks, and they've been putting in skills areas, and they've been putting in a lot of progressive features on trails, which is really cool to see because that's what was missing in the Twin Cities specifically. Is we didn't have a lot of jumps. We had like really sketchy jumps that like a volunteer would go and make, and it
Yeah.
just didn't work, and it was really scary. But I want to give like credit where credit's due is we have a company out here locally, Pathfinder Trail Building, owned by Adam Buck. Shout out to him. They've been putting in so much work here in Minnesota, and even outside of Minnesota, in the Midwest. The quality of their trail building and just them pushing the boundaries of the riding in Minnesota, like yeah, they deserve a lot of credit because they have really done an amazing job. Um, here in the Twin Cities and Minnesota. So, but yeah, it's
Right.
changed a lot. It's changed a lot. A lot of progressive things being made so that we can progress the riding here in Minnesota to allow people to go out west and not feel like super anxious or things like that. So it's changed a lot in the last 3 or 4 years. It's changed a lot.
And so is because of that, your riding has changed a lot.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. If we didn't have these new trails or I wasn't exploring, um, all around the state and things like that and pushing my boundaries, yeah, definitely wouldn't be where I am right now for sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from New Zealand, Marty, what's going on? You
Yo,
mountain bike
yo,
nerd.
yo.
What's going on, brother? Thanks so much. JT says there are so many good on and off road trails in the Twin Cities. For someone who said he's not good with the map, what are the Twin Cities?
So that's Minneapolis, St. Paul. So you got St. Paul, the capital, and then you got Minneapolis. Basically, just I want to say just northwest of St. Paul. Like you can literally see if you're in St. Paul in a certain area, you can see Minneapolis, and if you're in Minneapolis, you can see St. Paul. So that's why they call it the Twin Cities, Minnesota Twins, all that jazz. So, yeah.
Big dumb animal. But they're so far apart, and the flat earthers would say that you can't see it because of whatever.
Yeah, right. Oh,
Okay, we won't get into that. We're
that's
not getting
funny.
into politics here.
We-
How far are you from where you're sitting right now to where you get to go ride?
yeah. So, I'm in St. Paul, and there's a few trail systems that are really close that I could actually just take the Greenway, that goes along the Mississippi, and I go to Battle Creek. Battle Creek is like my local trail. And it's more, and I really, and if you're going to ask people like what their favorite trail in the Twin Cities are, Battle Creek does come up a lot because it's a lot
Mhm.
more, there's more elevation. We only have hills, but there's bigger hills, more elevation. There's more steeper, kind of rowdy trails, some more technical riding. So a lot of people gravitate to Battle Creek. So that's like my home trail. There's Carver Lake, which is, I would say, man, like 2 or 3 miles further south of Battle Creek. And then, and usually if I bike to those, it takes me like maybe 25 minutes, 30 minutes just to bike
Oh,
there.
wow.
And if like the headwind isn't too bad, I'll be like, yeah, I'll just bike there. And then I have a trail system that's by car, maybe 15 minutes, Lebanon Hills. And some would say Lebanon Hills is the best Twin Cities trail system. And so, yeah, that's like 15 minutes away. If I go over to the other neighboring city, so Minneapolis, there's like Theodore Worth Park, and that's probably 25 minutes. So, like, if you live in the Twin Cities, you have a trail system within, 15, 20, 25 minutes. So it's really accessible. Yeah. So a lot of close riding nearby.
Nice. God,
Yeah.
you're all over the place.
Yeah.
And it's very close.
Very close. Very close. Yep. It's a great kind of network and cluster of, and that's Mork. So Minnesota Off-Road Cyclist. That's the local organization that has, upkeeps everything. So
I had to this weekend. It was like an hour. I can't do it. It's literally. I swear I had a blast. I don't know if you saw my little reel. I look horrible at doing it, but I was having a blast. I hadn't been there, but it's an hour away. But it is the best trail system down here.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
everything. There's a pump track there. There's a jump section. There's drops. There's steeps there. And I didn't know. I was just I need to be here more often, but you're an hour away.
You're an hour. That's a lot of drive time. 2
I
hours.
have a wife downstairs that wants to spend some time with me, I think. Hold on. We got somebody in the house. Is that okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mike Mitchell, ladies and gentlemen, says, well, look what we have here. We have one. He says two amazing mountain bikers.
Oh, come on.
We have one. He's to the, what is this? The right or left of me?
Yeah.
Mike, you've ridden with me. You know better, mister. So when you're down there and you're mountain biking, you fell in love with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? Am I wrong?
Yeah. No, you're not wrong.
You were like,
It just caught me. Yep. That first ride, just, man.
I smell goodness here. I want more of this goodness. When did you get, and JT had asked this earlier, when did you decide to put involve a camera into it? When did you decide this is something that I want to become? I want this to be a part of what I'm doing.
So the year was 2020.
Ladies and gentlemen, sit down and listen. It's a story now.
Just a random year, 2020.
What happened?
Year. No idea. Just out of my memory. But yeah, 2020. So I had, as a lot of people, had extra time on my hands. And I kind of threw the idea around for like a few years prior, like, oh, do I start a YouTube channel? Like, is that something I can do? And so when that thing came around and I had extra time, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to buy a GoPro, strap it on, and I'm going to start doing ride videos. That's the thing. There's so many things that you just got to say, yep, let's just do it. Don't think about it. This is a good time. I feel like this is a good time. Let's just do it. And so, yeah, I went out to Battle Creek. And I'm glad I did, because Battle Creek was the first trail system that I went to ride and fell in love with mountain biking. And I'm like, yep, this is the trail I'm going to go to, Battle Creek, do kind of like an overview of the trail system the best I could, being literally the first video and never was super uncomfortable talking in front of the camera or talking on camera, and like, what are people going to think of me? But yeah, I just did the video. I edited the video, and the rest was really history with that. So that's literally what it was. I've been watching mountain biking YouTubers and things like that. And I was like, yeah, yeah, I want to try that. I want to try being a YouTuber.
Did you?
and and here we are, like dang.
3,000 subs later tonight.
Yeah, yep. Thanks to you guys. I appreciate it.
What?
Yeah.
It's a funny game, isn't it? This little YouTube thing. I mean, were you expecting anything when you first?
No.
I mean, did you set out
Like,
and you were like, I'm going to be the next Seth or
well,
BK here?
I had high hopes. I had high hopes. I definitely wanted to strive for, that greatness, but after the first year, second year, I'm like, yeah, YouTube's hard. YouTube is not an easy thing. And a lot of people think that, like, oh yeah, let me try to do a YouTube channel. Like, yeah, I'm whatever. There's a lot of like great writers that, and like if you look at like Phil Metz, like amazing writer. But he's got, good personality. His videos are really good. But YouTube, you got to put in the work. Like, you have to put out content. I've slowed down a little bit on content. So like when I first started the channel, I was like, I need a video every single week. And I would just post ride videos every single week. And like that's what you have to have, is like consistency. And if you don't have consistency, yeah, YouTube's gonna crush you. Like,
Yeah.
YouTube algorithm is going to crush you. So yeah, even now, I think like, yeah, I definitely, it'd be cool to have it as a full-time job. Maybe not. But I don't know. I just, if I wasn't having fun and love doing it, I probably would have stopped after the first or second year. I would have stopped. But just like I said, it's my way of being creative and having that freedom. Other than like, my daily job. Yeah, it's just something I love doing. Each video is so different. Each ride is so different, and it's just, it's a hoot. It's a hoot.
It's a hoot. You know what's great? It's a hoot.
It's a
There you
hoot.
go, you're Canadian. I think it's interesting that you say, it is a grind and you have to be consistent. And I probably do more Instagram than I do, what do you call that? The YouTube.
Yeah, the
I
shorts.
I actually pulled videos, mind you, shorts from YouTube,
Mhm.
because I'll put it on Instagram and I'll get, a couple thousand or 1,000, and I'll get a lot like instantly. You watch the number or whatever. You go on every now and then throughout the day. And you're like, oh, is anyone watching this? How's it doing? And I'll go into YouTube, 0. So I
Yeah.
nix it. I delete it.
Yep. Mhm.
It's so upsetting. And I guess I got to be more consistent, but
Yeah, and like that's the thing
hobby.
I don't know, like when short format content started coming out, yeah, and like how much traction it was getting with people, and like, people's attention span is like whatever, diminishing, but yeah, it was almost like death to long format content, like, but that's all people want is like shorts. And so yeah, it's tough to deal with that, to like compete. Like, it's almost like long format content is competing against short form, and short form is just annihilating everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, and yeah.
No, I was going to say I like my shorts, but sometimes Mike just said something about don't delete them. They can hit within weeks. And I'm like, I'm too depressed. I'm like, is this not something I'm doing right? Or is the thumbnail wrong or blah, blah, blah. But he says between you and JT, you guys have the most cinematic videos. He loves it.
I appreciate that.
That's exactly. You guys are, and it annoys me. Because, and I told you that because I do this for a living. But again, when I'm confined to people, I've got like 3 or 4 people that watch my stuff before it even airs.
Mhm.
So many different changes as a content creator. You can just go, there it is.
Here you go. This is what I made.
Enjoy it.
If you like it or don't like it, that's fair.
What was the hardest part about being content creator? Was it being comfortable looking at yourself through on the screen, or was it that did you pick up editing right away, or?
Yeah. So as far as like being in front of the camera, talking to the camera, And I even to this day, being in front of a camera it's a little intimidating. But it's just like, yeah, like doing a video where I gotta have some speaking points, man, that's tough. That's tough because you're sitting there, you're trying to like, all right, I'm gonna talk about this, and this, and then it just derails, and you're like, wait, no, I needed to talk about that. I didn't talk about that. I need to talk about this. No, that doesn't sound good, or like, no, I stumbled. Like, nope, I got to do that again. So yeah, like talking in front of the camera just has not been natural to me, and I've gotten a little bit better, but it's still like definitely like, oh man, just think of all these people behind that lens watching you. So it's definitely intimidating, but I've like, kind of gotten used to that a lot over the last 4 years, and so that was really tough. And as far as like the editing goes, yeah, it was kind of like that was a long journey. Like the first year, just kind of figuring things out. A lot of YouTube University is what people call it.
Yeah.
YouTube University. That's where I learned to edit. That's where I learned to shoot video.
Wow.
That's where I learned everything. So yeah, YouTube is a really good tool. If you use YouTube as a, if you want to say educational thing, it actually can be helpful. It actually can be very helpful for people. So, and that's what I love about YouTube is like you have all these, independent content creators. You have all these things that you can learn as long as it's, factual and correct and whatever. Yeah, you can learn a lot. You can definitely learn a lot.
I I got to tell you, as someone who's been doing this, I've been only YouTubing for 3 years, and that's a really long time, and I refuse to quit. Damn it. Um, but the long form content, we were talking about this earlier. I'm not good at it. Like I'm gonna put something together about my coaching this weekend, but I was having so much fun learning and stuff, and I'm like, and then we'd ride off, and I'm like, oh, I forgot to hit record. Like I thought he was
Mhm.
going to do it. Plus, it was a lot different. So, have you ever gone and done that, or do you have like you come home and you're like, I forgot, son of a, or do you already go out when you know you're going to make a video and you have a somewhat of an outline, if you will?
Yeah, typically. I typically know if, and sometimes it's just me, like if I know I have a cool ride coming up with, if I'm riding with a bunch of cool people. It all depends. If I wake up that morning and I had a good night's rest, I'll be like, yeah, I'm gonna film today. I feel really good today. Or sometimes I just make the decision where it's like, you know what, I haven't ridden with these guys in a long time. I just want to go have fun. I've maybe already done a video on this trail system. Is it really necessary for me to go and put the GoPro on and things like that? Not
No.
always. So I do allow myself to have the ability to make myself feel like I don't always need to bring a camera, because if you bring a camera on every single ride, like it's kind of a lot of extra work too. And sometimes you just want to have fun on the bike. So yeah.
Yeah, that's what's great about me not being a very good rider is that I don't feel like I have to bring it. Sometimes I will if I'm doing something cool and I'm like, maybe I'll make a short out of this. I mean,
Mhm.
hell, I went to the Bentonville Bike Festival and I didn't do a long form content because I was just like, there's so many people. This is what gets me. And I'm going to unload here, folks. Um, if you're watching this or you're watching it now, do you feel like you have to watch somebody shred in order to enjoy their video? I mean, that's because I feel that way, and it's like sometimes I'm like, do I need to be like Remy in order to post a video? Or like
Yeah.
JT's last one of his little shorty, him shredding that bike park. I don't know
Mhm.
where he was, but it was incredible. And I'm like,
Yeah, that was at
you just
Heritage. I was with.
okay, when you guys are riding that, and then all of a sudden you got me riding, it's like, why would I put that out? So I
No,
just throwing that out there in the ether.
I,
Do I need to be?
yeah, throw it out there. Like yeah,
Yeah,
you do not need to be a pro racer to make really entertaining content and things like that. Like yeah, you don't need to be a shredder. As long as you put in the work and you have an idea and the idea is good, yeah, put it out there. Even if you're like, I'm not sure about it, just do it. Just put the video out there, see what
Yeah, because
happens.
I also think, there's also not everyone's a shredder and not everybody wants to see that. I think there's a lot of people coming into this, into this sport or people like me. I've been riding forever, but I just ride for fun. I wasn't like
Yeah.
I'm not like really great at it, but I think I'm changing my mind on that. I don't think I need to shred and be apologetic for how I ride.
Yeah, and like there's a few videos that I think I kind of talked about that, and just like being kind of not honest. Well, I'm trying to think of words to kind of explain it, but just being like honest, like I talk about my riding and things like that, and things that have happened to me while riding, and like some of my um opportunities that I don't feel great about, and like just try to make it a natural thing for people to talk about, because with mountain biking, there is a culture where it's like, yeah, if you're not sending it 100% and like doing crazy stuff, like, I think it's called the bro mentality.
Yeah.
Um, like that can be, yeah, that can be not so great of a thing. And I think as long as people are like, let's say you have a group of 5 or 6, people riding with you, and there's maybe a few people that aren't at your level, or something like that. I think just keeping them like engaged with the group, but being understanding, not pushing somebody beyond their limit.
Yeah.
Because then, like, if someone's, at like an intermediate level and they're trying to level up, and then something, they're like, no, like, you got this, just trust me, bro. And they go off something that maybe they shouldn't have, because, a little bit of peer pressure, I guess. Then that person might be like, oh, is this really like my thing? Like, is this something I really want to do? So I think in like some videos, I just talk about like my insecurities about riding, and like what things I'm not comfortable, or like how I'm feeling about it, because um, that will help, like, I hope, inspire people, like, yeah, like I don't need to be like this crazy
Yeah.
shredder. Like, I can just ride if I'm having fun. As long as you're having fun on your bike on a trail, who cares? Like,
Thank you.
who gives a rip? Like,
Thank
for
you. That's the
real,
problem.
for real.
You got stuff like the Rampage, and I was just watching a bit, and I love Eric Riding Dirty is one of my favorite content creators and good friends. But I watch his videos and I'm like, dunk, 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 dunk. And I'm like, who
Yeah.
wants to watch me ride? I do more comedy than anything.
Yeah.
But Jarno says he was riding last weekend and forgot to hit record. Too much fun. That's me too. I'm also just having fun, man. I'm trying
Mhm.
to stay on my bike and not hurting myself.
Mhm.
Um, Michael Locke. Do you know Michael Locke?
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I've met him before, but I definitely know him from like social media and things like that. But yeah,
Uh,
might have
that's
ran him for a few times. Yep.
regular guys giving try after try on features, showing the challenge is cool.
Yeah,
This
it's a
is
challenge.
doesn't. Thank you, JT. There is a story to the adventure or ride. It doesn't matter what the bike skill is. Andy
Yeah.
Heck. So you know this kid, huh?
Yep. Yep. I know
Oh
Andy.
man. We'll get to you guys in your little creator camp.
Oh yeah.
It's simple. It's about personality. Even the big riders put out videos that aren't enjoyable to watch. There's no personality and fun commentary. Thank you, brother. Holy cow, you are bringing them all in here, man.
I guess
Look at
so.
this. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. I'm trying to work you and all these comments coming in.
Too many. Slow down, everyone.
Yeah, don't bro me, bro. That's when people get hurt. Exactly. Johnny, you just need to flip the GoPro around to see your face. So we only see your reactions. You are the entertainment. That's my wife, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to take a second. That just warmed my heart. So
Get a 360 camera so you can like
I,
flip it back to you, Joe, and then you
I was
then you.
so bad at the 360. Thank you for that's a great segue to
Mhm.
the 360. So you went from Mr. GoPro, I'm a sales guy, and I've got a GoPro on my chest to my goodness, you're a talented videographer and editor now.
I
When
appreciate
did
that.
that spark just
That's a
hit? Was
great.
you
That's a
sitting there?
great. That's a great question. So yeah, like I think the first 2 years, it was just like GoPro. And then I want to give credit. I'm gonna give a lot of credit during this show and everything. But there's another local mountain bike YouTuber, Chris Yonner. The dude has been around for a long time, and he puts out, like, when he puts out a video, you're like, yep, that's a Chris Yonner video.
Wow.
And so he puts a lot of effort into like the third person shots, off the bike, sets up a dedicated camera for different shots and things like that. So I saw his videos and I'm like, wow, those are like really sick and really well put together. And so I was like, yeah, I think I need like another camera to add to my arsenal. And so I knew nothing about shooting video like on a camera, as far as like, all the settings and things like that. It's not just a point and shoot. You can shoot full auto, but I kind of want to like learn how to operate cameras and things like that. So I bought like a Canon M50, kind of like a starter beginner camera, and it was like a mirrorless camera. And yeah, I started with that and then started doing more like cinematic shots and things like that. And then I really started to like doing that because I feel like I'm a filmmaker or something. And so I just really love that aspect. And then I did that for a few years with that camera. And then now eventually I have my Panasonic Lumix S5. And I've been able to get some amazing shots. I love this camera. And I just wanted my videos to stand out because how many people just make basic POV videos, and there's so much content, especially nowadays. There's so much content. How do you make something that's yours and your distinct spin on things? Because it's hard, because there's so much stuff out there.
Yeah.
So I was just looking for a way to like separate my videos to some degree, but still remain like a very like POV kind of video. But yeah, I have a lot of fun just being really quirky and weird with my videos, as far as like the way I edit and shoot and things like that and put it together.
It's I'm trying to look here. Hold on. Let me go to his. I'm gonna go to his YouTube. Let me see. I'm a bag of rocks, man. Just a bag of rocks. One we watched recently. I'm over here at Minnesota MTB. But if you want to go to his Instagram, folks, it's Minnesota
Soda.
Soda.
Yeah. So instead of sota, it's soda.
Spelled it wrong up here. Where's the one? Was it Moab? Oh, good. Shush.
You don't want to hear my heavy breathing.
So just like this, first off, you're riding like crazy stuff in Moab.
Yeah,
with
Moab's sick.
Very expensive camera probably hanging off the back. All of his rocks, but then he'll stop. He'll stop, and if we're on his Moab, riding Moab, most iconic trail on his YouTube. If you're listening on Spotify or anything else, you got to check this out. You show yourself taking the shot, and it's just that moment that just separated you from everyone else. He has a panoramic shot up above, and below he has the GoPro shot of him taking it.
Yeah, and that's I thought it was just a cool way to like show the BTS behind the scenes, kind of, in a way, like of like, me setting up the camera. Here's what the shot on the GoPro looked like. This is kind of what I was looking, and like here's like the final product, I guess, of what I did with that footage. So I thought it was like kind of interesting to like thing to do and input into the video just to make it a little different.
I keep hitting our chat to make it play. But there's all these little moments like that. There's one where you guys are coming down some chunk. I know Yarno likes some chunk. He likes to see chunk. Right here.
Oh yeah, this is cool.
It's just these panoramic beauty shots.
Yeah.
But it really, it just separates you from everyone else. Just that little moment.
Mm-hmm.
It's so incredible. Where did you, again, you were inspired by, what's his name?
Chris Yonner. Yep.
But it's those moments where I love to. I don't know because again, I've been so trained within a box to do stuff to have these moments
Mhm.
in your videos. When you're editing, do you already have it in your head before you start editing, or you're like, you know what would be cool?
No, so that's a great question. So what I like to do is, and maybe I need to get better at this, having more like very specific videos about things. But I think the cool thing is I go into a video. So, I got my GoPro on, I got my camera hanging off my back, putting that thing in danger and just shooting. And then I love coming back, looking at my footage and seeing like, what came out, what didn't. Some of the stuff is just there's a lot of just extra stuff. I'm like, yeah, I wasn't happy with that. And then basically piecing it together, and then kind of that's where the way the video flows, that's where it comes from, is just like very natural. I don't like to force things. I don't like to have things scripted. I want it to be very just genuine. And yeah, so I just come back, look at my footage. I'm like, okay. And sometimes, like, especially my intros and the way I pick my music is I listen to all these different tracks. I'm like, okay, yeah, that shot would go cool. It would be cool here. Like the way I want the video to feel, like that vibe, like that
Mm.
intro, based on like whatever track I decide. That's kind of it. It influences how the video flows and what I want to use and not use. So yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting how my brain works with that, I guess.
But being a guy, and again, you said you're in sales.
A little bit of management. So yep,
Okay,
just like retail
okay.
management. Yep.
And then all of a sudden, Dusty says he always sees things a little different than the rest of us, and that's the art in it.
Those are
Um,
good words.
Not ever having a background in this.
Nothing.
I'm sorry. Dude. It's hard to wrap my head around it. And I know I'm blowing a bunch of sunshine up in, but it really is. It's fascinating to see that you have
Mhm.
this thing flowing through you. Do you have an art background or anything?
No, so funny thing is my sister is a very talented artist. Shout out to you. And yeah, so she has a background in art. So she's a really talented she does like um illustrations and drawings and things like that. And so she had, and she went to college for, art and design and things like that. While over here, I'm just, working or whatnot. And so then I guess like, I thought like she had like all the kind of artistic talent going on, like,
Uh,
things like that. And then I started doing YouTube and started doing more creative things. I'm like, oh, maybe I do have a little bit of art
Maybe,
ish things going on. So,
maybe like a
um,
little something sits.
yeah, and like in school I hated drawing. I hated painting. Like I sucked at it basically. And yeah, never was good at like arts and craft and things like that. And I guess it just took till 2020 and um, me just getting a GoPro and doing something I love and then transforming into something where I can be creative.
A little bit
Yeah.
of time.
Yeah.
Uh, the Hungry Mountain Goat says it helped also that they were slower than you. You had enough time to whip out the cameras.
Yeah, I got all set up. No, it was great. Yeah, that trip was awesome. Sup, bro? Yep, that's my sister
Look,
right there.
Megan, how do you pronounce that last name?
Light shoe is German.
Light shoe.
Light shoe. Yep.
I guess that's not that hard if you just really
Yeah.
look at that.
Yeah.
Light shoe. Okay. Hi, Megan. And don't I guarantee I bet the way you shooting at it, I guarantee you could make a good macaroni necklace.
Yeah,
But
true. Maybe.
no, I know, and it's funny that we spend so much time on this, but that's really I think what draws me to you is just like I watch a lot of mountain bikers, and a lot of mountain bike content, but yours really stands out. I mean, we could talk about your riding if you want, but I think the creative side is what really what gets people to watch your stuff and stay and sub is that you've got that little bit of edge on everyone else.
Yeah,
More sunshine.
yeah, and I think, yeah, I definitely want to keep kind of doing that, kind of going back to like definitely like finding my craft and like what's my style. And I think this year I found my style. Because I think like the first 3 years was just like seeing what works, and then finally this year I was like, okay, like yeah, I can see like where I kind of want to be, as far as like how I make my videos. So I kind of found a little bit of an identity, I think.
And you get to film what you love doing, riding. I mean, you went to Moab.
Exactly.
You went to Moab.
Exactly. Moab was awesome. Um,
It's kind of like the
yeah.
Mecca. I'm growing up. That's all I ever wanted to ride
Yeah.
when I first started riding. That you see there used to be a magazine called Bike Magazine. I don't know if it's still around, but it always featured like some story about Moab.
Yeah.
Is it everything?
It is everything and more.
Wow.
Yeah. So like the story behind getting out there, I might go off on a tangent, but so I took a 2-week trip, a road trip. So from Minnesota. So what I decided to do is I was going out with the group. The Hungry Mountain Goat was with that group. But I decided to head out a week early and drive cross country to California.
What?
So yeah.
That's awesome.
So it's always been a place for me to like visit, is California, like Southern California. And so I headed out a week ahead of them, and, went through Colorado, went through Utah, went through Nevada, eventually wound up in California. And so I did a lot of riding out in California, just did a lot of tourist things in California, went to Venice Beach, went to, LA, just to say, yeah, I've been to LA. Yeah, traffic sucks. And actually traffic was cool because I was like, yeah, like this is cool to actually see how bad traffic is in LA. This is cool for some reason.
It's so bad there.
And like, yeah, when I went out of California and I hit like the first amount of traffic, I'm like, I expected this and I'm okay with this because this is California.
I know it's so bad. I thought it was bad here. I went out earlier this year in the summer to ride, and because I lived out there for almost 2 years in LA, and I got back into that traffic, and I was talking to my mom on the phone. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, because yeah, it's bad. So I like so I was at Venice Beach, and then I wanted to go to Griffith Park Observatory, and it's like what, like 10 miles or like something like that. It's not far away. And it was like 2.5 hours to get there.
Oh, rush hour.
It was like, yeah, during the worst time of the day. And yeah, it was interesting. It was quite an experience. And yeah, like I said, I did some riding out there. Yeah, like Southern California trails are super different, really dry, really eroded in some places where there's a bunch of, rainfall and things like that. But yeah, so I was in California, and then it was time to go up to Utah to meet with these guys. And we all met in St. George, Utah. So the southwestern corner of Utah. St. George is also a destination place. St. George, Utah. So we did a few rides there, and then we eventually made our way up to Moab. And yeah, we did, I think, like 2 or 3 rides in Moab. And yeah, Moab was definitely everything that you see on YouTube and people talk about Moab. Definitely like a bucket list, and I definitely want to go back to Moab. And then yeah, once we were done with Moab, we crossed over into Colorado. So then we rode Fruta, and Fruta is also a really cool place to go to. We rode, I think the trail system is 18 road, and it's like kind of like a deserty area. It's like wide open, and there's trails there's these big like hills, I guess, that come to a point, and then on the point is a trail that goes down the spine. So like it's a giant, it's like a giant, yeah, it's like ridge riding. So like both sides are just like really steep, and you got, a small little patch of trail, and you're just riding down the spine, and you can see, you look down, you can see the rest of the trail as you're going, because it's just wide open. It was cool. It was a cool ride.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a trip. That was a trip for sure.
got some California folks in here that want to know, did you ride? Where did you ride in California? Did you Snow
Oh
Summit or
boy.
TB
No.
Tank has just joined us?
Let's
Got
see.
the NAR out there. I've lived out there and I can't remember the places that I rode back then
Yeah, I'm trying to
where
take
they
a quick look
where they used to
on the
shoot.
map.
MASH was a place, and then there was another place near Mulholland. But
There's
I love some Sky Park.
there's so much riding in Southern California and just
Oh, look,
California.
your mom stopping in.
Hello.
She
Hello.
loves this. I love it too, Deb. Okay. I'm a big fan. Go ahead and hit like and subscribe if you can.
Yep. Subscribe. Yes. Everyone in chat. Yes. Go
Oh, yeah,
subscribe. Or if
they're
you're
all
watching, go
right.
subscribe.
So Fruta, yeah, I think I've seen some videos out in Colorado. I think my buddy Beyond X is doing a centennial. He's riding 100 different trail systems in Colorado.
Oh, nice.
He's doing it, and I think that was one of them. But yeah, well, we got to get to. I want to get to. You can't remember where you rode in California? I guess you went all over the
Gosh.
place.
My brain's all over with that.
You're all over.
Yeah. So I think one of the places was Sweetwater Reservoir, and then
Interesting.
I rode Mission Trails, which is outside of San Carlos. And there was one other trail system, but yeah, I can't remember.
Okay, so back to your content creating. You're creating content, and you're doing pretty good, I think. All of a sudden, you get a call from some guy out in Wisconsin, cheese state or something like that. I don't
Something.
know.
I'm not sure. Packers. I don't know.
Did you already know JT?
No. So I didn't personally know JT. I think we had some interaction. I think I could be wrong. JT, if you're in chat, remind me. But I think we were on Instagram, and then eventually he was doing his live streams during the winter. He invited me on that live stream. We had the chat like we are right now.
Yeah.
And then I want to say I think I was on one chat with him, and then I think that same year he was up in Cuyuna fat biking, invited me out to go fat biking, even though I retired from that sport. And so he invited me out there, and that was, I think, the first time that we met in person. We went for a ride. We met in Cuyuna 2 years ago. So yeah, 2 years ago, I think that was our first time meeting in person and not online and on this 2D thing. But yeah, and now we're friends. I was just out there in Wisconsin, riding at Heritage, just outside of Racine, Wisconsin, or it was a Slinger, Wisconsin. Yeah, so we've done a handful of rides already. So,
How
but yeah,
far is it? I really need to buy a map.
um,
I think I'm gonna get Amazon in it right now.
from where I live to there, just outside of Racine, I think it was like 5 hours, like a 5 hour
Oof.
drive. Yeah, it wasn't bad. Yeah, I'm pretty good at taking long road trips, so 5 hours was pretty
Oh.
easy.
So when you're invited to backstory this, folks, if you're listening somewhere else where you don't know, JT put on a thing called Creator Camp, the Creator Camp, where he brings creators together, mountain bike content creators, to bring them together. They create. We as people who watch the content, we get to judge on it. You were invited. What was that like to just go, wow, I was invited to do this?
Yeah. I felt super honored to be a part of like something that was, created and being the first one. So I felt good. I felt I had to represent Minnesota because almost felt like everyone else was from Wisconsin. So it's a little bit of a competition between the two states. But it was cool. It was a really good experience. And that's like it was the coolest thing about the whole thing was just meeting all these new people and making all these connections. You guys all have one thing in common, at least two. You're content creators and you're mountain bikers. So you already have those two things already there. Yeah. And then basically when you finally meet those new people and you go and ride, it like automatically felt like we were friends. And during creator camp, the thing was just to be creative and have different challenges throughout the 2 days. like we had a quick photo challenge. I think it was like a quick photo action shot. So that was the photo. Then we had a quick video challenge. I think it was like 30 seconds or 15 seconds, something like that, of the best way to use a trail feature. So you really had to use your brain a lot. It wasn't just you're out there to ride and have fun. We did that, but it was also like you had to keep that like that brain working as far as like the content creation side of it. So it was cool, and I'm really excited for JT to see where that goes next year and the years to come. It's a super unique idea that I've never heard of, and when he asked me, he's like, "Hey, do you want to be a part of this?" I'm like, "Absolutely, absolutely. I'll be the guinea pig."
How was that pulling up to? Because again, we're all just mountain bikers and content creators as well. And did you walk in and were you sizing it up? You're like, this is fun, but this is a competition.
No, for me, honestly, it was just more nervousness of just like meeting these new people and like knowing that like, dang, like, a lot of good content creators are here, and I kind of want to show what I got. So yeah, there's a little bit of competition, like a little bit of that kind of going on, but overall it was just like a really friendly, inviting, enthusiastic environment. And that was one of the big highlights for this year for me.
Also, since JT is probably just, he's logged in, he's not really listening. Good guy.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yep. Wisconsin at its core. Yeah, he's good.
He seems like a great guy. I can't wait to meet you all in person. Now? This is a mountain bike. Let's talk about mountain biking real quick.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen his stuff, folks, go on there, check his stuff. It's not just beautifully done. The guy knows what he's doing in a bike saddle. He's just
questionable.
Really,
that's a questionable.
No, I can do that because I've got the proof on my Instagram.
I have plenty of bloopers and falls and dumb mistakes.
You have one video where you dedicate it to just a wreck.
That was the one I had video for, but I also had another crash about a month after recovering from that first crash. And I just didn't have my GoPro because I was just like, I'm gonna go for a ride and hit some jumps and whatever. And then I literally just
very talented rider. I guess I don't know if it was the first day and JT, if I come this year, 2025, don't even put me in the dual slalom. Don't because it'll be like 10 minutes later. I'll get down. You're going against Colin, folks. If you don't know Colin from Ace Bike Media, I've ridden with him before, and that was just
he's quick. He's quick.
He's ridiculous, and I loved watching those videos, man. They were so much fun.
Yeah, and I knew when we were practicing, I think we were doing some practice like the first day when we got there. We were just riding the trail, and I think I went up to him. I think we were just doing like practice runs, and then I could see how fast he was, and I just everyone was asking like, "Oh, like who do you think is gonna be, the winner?" I'm like, Colin. Like, dude, Colin is fast as what. Like, he's competition for sure. But yeah.
Now, I'm gonna pull up your video because I was a big fan of watching the videos up through this before I actually talked to you on the podcast about Creator Camp. But wrong one. I'm still new at this. 3 years of podcasting. I'm still learning. This one. This is what made me want to hold you like a little baby and pick your brain because where is it? This one. I'm pulling up the Windman Trails video. Hold on, let's pause it. The Windman Trails on Instagram, Windman Trails. Just put no spaces. If you want to check this video out, without question, the best artistry of any submission they write. And are you okay with this? With that? People hearing that? I mean, watch this. Watch this, folks.
Until there's peace to your
Oh,
live a life you
we're
adore.
watching the videos, music, beautiful music.
Live a life you adore.
Oh. Everybody's like,
Got triple coverage.
I'm gonna cry. It's so
Don't
inspirational.
cry. Don't cry.
How long? Watch it. The coloring. Your next picture. Holy.
I love that video. That was such a fun video to make. Even though it's short, it was fun to make. Yeah.
It's so just some of the shots just look so raw too. Like you just kind of, it's almost like you just had the camera up and you were like, you know what, that shot looks good.
Yeah, and that's how it is. I just point the camera at random places and at random people, and I'm like, and sometimes it works, and it tells a story without having you to tell a story, and that's really like a lot of videos. That's what I want my goal to be, is like every ride is a new adventure. Every ride is a memory, and when you have it on video and you have it, when you capture it, you can, even me, like I go back on my videos and I just like, yeah, I remember that very distinctly. Like that was an awesome time, amazing people, amazing trails. And yeah, I think it's just the human side of it is just capturing those moments, and like, yeah, it's good. It's good.
You're ridiculous, man. Just the way you even talk about your videos
Yeah.
is it's so inspirational.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to steal your style now.
I'm gonna come after you.
You do it, buddy. No, but JT's right. And if you don't know who JT is, folks, if you're listening on other stuff, the Dusty Dutchman, watch the video 100 times and got you every time. Absolutely gorgeous. I felt that I actually showed people. I showed people at my job.
Really?
Videographers. I'm like, this is what happens when you don't have, you're not thinking inside a box. You're just allowing yourself to feel the moment and capture that moment.
Yeah, you have that. Yeah, you have that freedom. You don't have those guardrails. You don't have that like, hey, here's what I made. Oh, make this, edit this, and this. It's like, oh, like really? And then yeah, if you're just an independent content creator or filmmaker or whatever it is, like you have no guardrails. Like you have nothing. You can, whatever you want to make, you just make it. And yeah, if there's anyone that's curious about doing a mountain bike channel, or even if it's not mountain biking, if it's about cameras, about whatever, just do it. Just dive in. Just dive in. You'll never know where it goes if you don't try.
You know what? I'm not going to steal your stuff, but you have, just through this conversation and the way you talk about it, because it really is a passion for you.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And the way you think about it and the way you visualize it, even with your words and your thoughts, you're inspiring me to want to break out from my regular mold. I'm not going to steal your stuff or the way you do it. Like
I said, I'll come after you.
Next step. Well, I don't want you to.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
I may be big, but I'm scared. It's truly inspirational. Like now I want to start thinking outside the box and not just doing goofy stuff. Like folks, I hope out of any of this, I hope that Evan can inspire you all to do different. What does inspire you? I don't know if
I guess it's like films and movies like really does inspire me. Like I'm I'm a more visual person. So I like visuals. I learn visually. I don't learn by reading text and things like that. I learn a lot of things and like how to maybe do certain shots away just by what I've seen in the past of like movies and like certain directors like Wes Anderson films, Martin Scorsese or Christopher Nolan's like one of my favorite directors, and just watching those movies or watching short films and things like that. Um, yeah, that's where I've learned just a lot how to like compose my shots, how to like edit things a certain way. Sometimes I'll watch like a certain, I guess, trailer or even like music videos. Music
Uh-huh.
videos, like I really like music videos. Like when I was younger, I was like, those music videos don't even make sense to the music, or like I don't understand like what the story was.
Yeah.
But that, as I've gotten older and I've seen more like unique and kind of quirky like videos being made by all these like producers and things like that, and I've just started to like got ideas like, oh, that'd be cool, like that's a cool shot, like I want to try to like replicate that, or just like breaking down like how they did that shot, how were they able to do that, and then just using a lot of those like I think things that I've visually have seen and then apply those to like my intros and outros. And I think I've said, like I like my intros to be really creative, my outros somewhat creative, and then just the main core of the video, if it's just a riding POV, I'll just keep it, what a typical riding POV, so it's not completely alienated as
Yeah.
far as that goes.
Man.
Hmm.
I can't get enough of it because, again, I could be talking about your writing, but it's your content that's getting me. Um, and just watching that one piece really just it kicks me in the head and makes me want to do better. And leading into that, what would you, as a content creator that is thinking outside of the box and not just showing POV and going, oh, and then there's some chunk here and blah, 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 which those videos are needed. I love your tour videos because they helped me ride a lot. I got to see when I went to Sky Park, I watched every trail that I could watch from those POVs and stuff. But as content creators that are getting into content creating, what would be some advice that you would give them?
I think some advice I would say is just don't be afraid of like how creative you do get with the video and how unique it is, just because it's kind of like going against the grain. Like I like to think as content creation is sometimes you have to go against the grain to make something stand out. So I think like just find something, and it may take some time, and I know for sure like my recent videos that's taken over 3 years to kind of finally like make something like that, is just don't be afraid of being different, going against the grain, and being okay that yeah, it's going to take some time to really hone in on something. But yeah, just be patient, I guess.
Yeah.
You got to be patient
And keep at it.
and keep at it. Don't stop.
Don't
Even if you're even if you're not getting views and you're not getting a lot of interaction, that doesn't mean that no one's watching. When I first like put out the first few videos and I had 50 views and like 2 or 3 comments, I'm like, dang, like, whoa, that's in like when I, hit like 100 subscribers, I'm like, there's no way, because I like to visualize like if you have, let's say, 1,000 subscribers, just think of how many people that is. Like if you're sitting in a stadium and you have 1,000 people, that's a lot of people. Like
Yeah.
you're making stuff that 1,000 people are watching your videos and like your videos because they subscribed. So yeah, just little baby steps. Yeah, just keep going.
I got a question, and I bring this up because I've actually seen some since I've been in this game for 3 years. I've seen people come and go,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really interesting. It's just like I wait a minute, where did you go? You were doing so. There's a guy right here, Trails and Ales.
Mm-hmm.
He got his 1,000 or 2,000 subs or whatever right away. He disappeared. And if anybody knows where he is, I'd like to hook up with him. I know he still rides down here. I've heard.
He didn't like change his name, or it's like that.
I don't know.
No
Like,
name change.
he went away, and he's a rider down here.
Yeah.
He was putting out some really great content. But I've seen people come and go. Was there ever a moment you went, "There's 50 likes or 50 views. Why am I still doing this?
Yeah.
Did you ever have that?
Yeah, like maybe well, probably more than a few times if I'm being honest with myself. But yeah, there is a few times where I was like, do I really want to keep going? Like there's so many other like better riders and things like that. But I really just had to like look at myself and say, is this something I really love doing? Yeah, I do. I genuinely love doing this. So yeah, who cares? Like if it never takes off and goes viral, like it doesn't matter as long as I'm happy with what I produce and created. Um, that's all that like, that's a very important thing is like, yeah, if you're not loving it, then, you know, yeah, people may move on or, get burnt out. I know like burnout's definitely a thing. For
Yeah.
like, I think for anyone, like even at your day job, burnout's a thing. But yeah, definitely content creation. Cause yeah, if you're not getting those views and you're like, oh, that was a banger video. Like, why is that not taking off? Then you're gonna be like, should I just keep going or should I just kind of, yeah, like see you later? But yeah, it's just that like being persistent and just, having faith that, things work out and it's worth it as long as you love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. You just got to remember that it's not for the subs, I think. You're
Yeah.
doing it because you enjoy doing it. I do this because I enjoy meeting people like you. I've made so many great relationships through this. That's what keeps me going. I mean, you've got this goat guy. He just keeps popping up, man. Evan is an all-around awesome human being and is incredibly good at what he does. Love that we get to hang out and share some awesome adventures together. That's why you do it, for stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would say like if I didn't start mountain biking, the friends that I know, and those like friendships that I made, yeah, I'd probably have like no friends, honestly. And so being in mountain biking has just opened up a door, not just because I have the channel or things like that. Just the sport in general brings people together, and it's just so like some of my best memories have been on the bike with other people that I may have never ridden with, and it's like my first time riding with them, and then just seeing that friendship be created like within 5 minutes, and yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's an amazing thing.
And I've been,
Yeah.
it's funny is you get to ride with all these people, and I used to ride with some people, but I've become a solo rider because everyone's moved. And just this weekend, I rode with somebody, and then I met up with somebody. He was like, "Oh, you guys shooting YouTube?" I'm like, "Yeah." That's another thing. I don't know if you get that. I got the camera set up. I'm shooting my goofy face. I'm like, "Hey, everybody, blah," and all of a sudden, look at this guy. It's all dry out there. He's got a chapstick it.
I know it's already
He
the
just
dry
wanted to
air
like
is like
power
it's like
nap.
yeah, dry air is rearing its head right now.
But I've got the camera up there and I'm like, "Hey folks, Johnny, you here, blah, blah, blah." I'm an idiot. And then all of a sudden, three bikers come up and they're putting their bikes on and they're talking. And I'm like, guess I'm just gonna sit here for a minute till they leave. You ever get that?
Oh, heck yeah. I'm like, I'm not doing this in front of a bunch of people. I look
Oh,
like a crazy person. I look like
they're
an
all serious
absolute
mountain bikers, and I'm popping up into the frame and doing some stupid
yeah.
stuff. But once they went, we did our thing, and then some guy goes, "You're a YouTuber?" And next thing I know, I'm on a chat with like a bunch of dudes. He goes,
Yeah.
"Let me put you in my riding group, man. You can come out and ride with us."
Yeah.
And so I'm looking forward to hooking up with people.
Yeah.
Folks, Yarno is sitting on 400 plus. Fatigue is a thing. He's going to need to get back on the horse. If you are not following Fractured Rider or sub to him, meet me at the bike rack after school, folks. You can bring a
Ooh.
metal lunchbox too. I don't care. I'll take you down. And Mike is right. Burnout is definitely a thing. I've been through there, and I've taken some. How do you deal with it? Do you take a minute?
Yeah, I do. And like this year, yeah, I definitely haven't put as much consistency in videos. Just to maybe kind of avoid that. But yeah, I tried to, like I said, I like to make certain days and rides where I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna do a video.
No.
I'm just going to keep the camera at home and I'm just going to go ride and have fun. And that kind of rekindles, like that gives me time to rekindle and say, yep, I still love the sport. And yes, I still want to make content for my YouTube channel because that's something I love. So yeah, you definitely have to take breaks. And it all depends on the person. Like one person may need a week, one person may need 2 weeks. Sometimes I need a month where I just need to like kind of, have that time and then look back and be like, all right, I'm gonna get back into it, start making videos. But
Yeah, it is funny. I didn't realize it until later on in the YouTubing thing and just even Instagram. Like I got to a point, I think that I went a couple weeks without doing anything. I mean, I have a wife, I have a job, I have 2 boys, dogs.
yeah.
Do you got a dog?
No pets.
No pets.
I find myself, if I had a pet, I'd feel bad about it because I'm always like gone somewhere.
Significant other?
No SO, no pets. So yeah, kind of got a lot of freedom still. So a lot of times I find myself either riding or traveling somewhere. So yeah, I would feel bad if I had a pet and be like, all right, well, I'm gone this weekend, gone this weekend, and then work during the week and then only spend. But yeah,
you get to play, man.
Yeah,
good for you, man. Don't need to. Oh man, this has been so fucking good, man.
this has been great.
Holy,
This has been great.
I don't know about y'all, but I am so glad that I met you through JT and to get you on because you are so inspirational.
I appreciate that.
Some things may change on my channel. Not much. I'm a goofball. I have to. But I don't know if you've watched this channel before, but there's a little thing I like to do. I like to wrap it up because I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know we both have to work in the morning. I've got a CT scan really early in the morning.
Oh no!
Don't get old.
Don't
get old. No, it's my body. It's a calcium score thing to see when I'm going to go. Age is a real thing. I wrote. If you don't mind, how old are you? I said you were like 20.
30. I turned 30. I turned 30 this year. Yep. Yeah.
I'm old enough to be his dad, folks. No, I rode Sunday, and I swear I've been icing my knees since Sunday. I don't know what I did. It was weird. But folks, you all know what time it is. 10 rapid fire questions. Are you good?
Yeah, sure.
You good with the rapid fire questions?
Let's do it. Let's see.
Are you okay with what we talked about today? Do you want anything else you want to get off?
No. I think we covered. I think no. We covered a lot. Let's go.
I'm a big goofball, sir, and I think you know that. Okay, so rapid fire questions in the comment section. If you want to join in, feel free. They're not very rapid. This one was a good one. I like this one. Would you rather speak every language or be able to speak to animals?
Speak every language.
Ooh. I don't know if I'd like to know what my dogs are saying to me right now or thinking of me.
Yeah, no, I think it'd be cooler to like know every single language and then be like, yeah, I'm gonna fly over to Japan and be like, yeah, I can talk to everyone, or like fly over to Germany, like, yeah, I can literally talk to anyone. Like, yeah, I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, now that you said it like that, I did think animals at first, but it would be too much. Like, there's enough talking with humans right now. If I could hear what the animals are saying, it would drive like Dr. Doolittle. That would drive me nuts.
They might have some wisdom that you may have not thought of, to be honest. Just a thought.
Dropping it tonight. I can't wait to meet you in person, dude. I think. Texting or talking?
Texting.
Thank you. That's why they created it, folks. Nobody wants to talk anymore.
It's funny because JT called me about Creator Camp, and he like called me, and I was like, what is this? What's a phone call? Like I don't talk. I mean, I'll talk to my parents on the phone, but like anyone else, that's like I'm texting or Instagram or DMing or emailing. But yeah, over the phone's like, okay, yeah. I'm a bit nervous to talk on the phone actually because I'm not used to that.
And you know what else is the voicemail that says, "Hey, could you give me a call back?" About what? Can you just text that?
I'll be like, yeah, I'll call you back. Yeah, I'm gonna text you back.
Could you let me know what
Oh
so I can
gosh.
prepare myself?
Mhm.
Kaz, MTV Kaz Ozeki just joined in. Wants to talk to the animals. All right, Doolittle.
Right on.
Worse is calling and leaving a message to call back. Yes, that's what I hate that. Could you call back?
Like, hey, this is Evan. Just give me a call back. I'm like, oh, sounds serious.
Is it serious?
Right. You
And then
can't,
they're like, yeah,
sometimes
I
you
just
can't
wanted to.
tell. Can you give me a call
Yep,
back? It's like, oh boy. Yeah.
Yarno, communication through
Communication through
memes. That's
memes.
pretty much how we work.
Yeah.
Um, favorite breakfast meal?
Hash brown and eggs.
I'm going with the hash brown. Now, do you like the finely cut little where they press it down, or do you like a potato, like a chunked potato?
I like when it's yeah, just a little shreds of potato. That's where it's at. That's where it's at. Put some maple syrup on the hash brown. Have you had maple syrup? Well, like
Check.
yeah.
We're done, folks. I gotta go get some right now.
That's where it's at. That's where it's at.
My wife says there's not a lot of options. There are. There. Oh, holy cow! Hold the phone. Bacon, eggs, and rice with soy sauce.
Soy sauce.
Never had rice with breakfast. What if you got like a
No.
scrambled egg on top of that?
Huh.
Rapid fire.
Wow.
I'm gonna Kaz Ozeki. Kaz Ozeki. Met that kid at Sky Park. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that this weekend. One of your nicknames. What was one of your
Nicknames.
you have any nicknames?
Oh boy. I honestly don't think so. I'm trying to remember like back in my like school days. Like, did I have a no? Either I do and I'm lying to myself, or I just can't. I literally can't think if I've
Your
had a
parents
nickname.
never gave you a little something. It was just Evs, Evan.
Or like S head because I'm a I'm just like
You had the same dad I had.
I'm a troublemaker a lot of times. I like to be really sarcastic and yeah. So
Do
maybe that.
you make your bed?
Do I make my bed? No, I do not.
Thank you. Waste of fucking time.
I mean, if you got company coming over, yeah, make your bed. Be
Why are they in
presentable.
my bedroom?
Well, I don't know. Like if they just happen to be walking your hallway and they see your bedroom, who knows?
Oh, look at
but yeah,
look at him. He's a slob.
no, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time in my.
I guess being Japanese, they have rice for breakfast. Probably rice with everything, man. I love a good thing of rice. Do you have any hidden talents? I guess roll your tongue.
No, I do not. No special talents.
He's a shredder, but it's not hidden. Go watch him just ride, folks. Even if his videos are horrible, he's a great rider. Go to karaoke song.
Go to karaoke. Oh gosh. I'm not really a karaoke guy. Dang. I don't have a song.
Not even like Islands in the Stream with like Kenny Rogers or I like Go Fly with Me.
I'm gonna go rock. I'm gonna go One by Metallica, I guess, but
okay, man. He is there you go, rocking it out. Embarrassing moment. I was just thinking about this.
Okay, this is the good one. I can include my 2 crashes this year. So I had my first crash at Spirit. Went into urgent care, and then healed up, went right in again. Almost did the same kind of exact thing. I overshot a jump, landed flat, and then just completely smashed my face on the ground. It was a really fun time. Went back to urgent care. The same place. And I had the same person that saw me the first time. They're like, back again so soon, huh? I'm like, yeah, you could say that. And my face is like completely swollen and bleeding. I'm like, yeah. I'm back again. That was kind of that was
I
kind
may
of
be
a
back here again.
that was kind of a moment. I'm like, yep, that's me.
They were like, you should maybe hang up the bike or
Yeah, yeah. No, they were trying to make me feel better about it. But yeah, that day I was not yeah, and actually like that day when I had that crash, yeah, that was a tough one. That was like actually a pretty mentally tough one. I almost thought about stopping mountain
really.
biking. Yeah, yeah. But I'm
Is
over
that the
that
one you made
now
the
and
video?
we're back striding. So
Is that the one you made the video for?
no, that was the second one.
Oh, that's
So the first one really didn't affect me that much. But then when I had the second one so shortly after, I'm like, yeah, this is dangerous. This is a dangerous sport, isn't it?
uh,
But yeah, but I'm back and yeah, I'm back.
he's
Back
back and
riding.
he's better than
Let's,
ever.
let's go.
Yeah, yeah, broken collarbone. James, what?
Hmm.
Yeah, that's. I did that when I
Collarbone
was
and
young.
wrist.
My dad went to throw me into a pile of leaves, and he tossed me over the leaves accidentally. No, I'm kidding. Hey, Steve, the spokesman, is in here.
Yeah, yeah,
How
yeah.
late am I? We're doing the 10 rapid fire questions before we end it. But thanks for stopping in, Steve. Always love Steve. Like and subscribe. Steve, like and it's always backwards. This kid, talented. I don't know if you already watched his stuff. Talented uh, videographer and editor. Um, Mexican or Chinese food?
Mexican food. Tacos.
See, I mean, if I could put Chinese food into a taco,
Yeah.
heaven.
I mean, yeah, that kind of works. That would work.
It's so fantastic. Either one, man, is so good for me.
Yeah, either way.
And favorite movie quote? Okay, favorite movie genre? I don't know.
Movie genre, sci-fi movies.
Okay, I was going to ask you, what's your favorite?
My favorite is Interstellar. Christopher Nolan. It's my favorite movie.
And I like that you did the Wes Anderson.
Yeah,
He does
yeah.
have a style.
Yeah. Yeah, they all have a style.
Always
It's always like
perfectly centered,
perfectly centered,
a
symmetrical.
lot of headroom, very
Mhm.
symmetrical.
Yep.
It's so
It's good
funny.
stuff.
Very good, very unique stuff. Always the same actors. Ladies and gentlemen, Evan, thank you so much for coming on tonight, man. This has been so much fun, and I'm glad I got to just one-on-one with you about your whole process, what's going on in that head of yours.
Yeah, and I appreciate you having me on. It was fun chat, and a lot of times I don't get to talk about my creative process, and that's what's really cool is like you get to basically get in the brains of all these content creators and get a better understanding of who they are and what they do. And so, yeah, what you're doing is awesome. And like I said, I appreciate the invite, and it was really fun chatting.
I appreciate you, man. This is so great. I had a blast, guys. I keep it, but it's that way. Yes, it's that the guys.
Yep, there you go.
One of these days, I was right. You guys in the comment section, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys so much for coming on, taking time out of your night or day, depending on where you are in the world, to listen to these great chats with these great mountain bike content creators. I appreciate you all. If you want to know more about Minnesota MTB Evan, all his stuff is right down there. Give him a like and subscribe. Check out his videos on YouTube and Instagram. Incredible stuff, as we've mentioned. So, folks, if you can, go get your bike sturdy.